Needless to say, this video will be going up late because it is 4:56 p.m. and I have just now decided what I'm going to film for the day. I am going to give this try a chapter biz a go. So I have here Seafire, Uprooted, Gilded Wolves, The Wicked King, and A Curse So Dark and Lonely. I am going to read a chapter of all 5 of these bad boys to see which one I am going to read next, and I will vlog the experience, my suffering for your entertainment. That's dedication. Hopefully it's not suffering, but we'll see. So let's get into it. Okay, so I just read a chapter of A Curse So Dark and Lonely, and that chapter was fairly short, but I was just like, wait, that's it? What the hell is going on? So I don't know, like, if you could tell from the angle I was filming, but I, like, reread several parts of that over and over because I was just, like, trying to figure shit out. But I am thoroughly intrigued by this. It is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I don't know why I've waited so long to read it, but, like, dude, just... The first chapter was from Ren's point of view, who is what I believe to be the Beast character so far. I don't know. This book is looking like it might throw me some curveballs. So I'm just going to say I think this is the Beast character because, because there's talk of the curse and etc. and he was in the woods. I mean, duh, he's the Beast character. But you can never be too sure about these things. Do you mind, young man? Can you just sit there? Be a cute puppy. Yeah. And he's giving me Khalid from Wrath in the Dawn, like angsty, but there's a reason he's like angsty and violent, but he's regretful of the things he has to do. Like, I'm here for it. So let's see what happens. Next, I'm going to pick up Gilded Wolves, I think. And this is one that's pretty polarizing. Like, a lot of people, there's no middle of the road with this book. People either love it or they hate it. So let's see what we get. I have heard it called like a low-red Six of Crows. So we'll see. I've heard several people say that actually. My favorite was Costco Six of Crows. Okay, enough. But yes, I've heard multiple people compare it to Six of Crows, and not in a good way. It's like the Kroger brand version of Six of Crows. So let's see. Let's see if this mac and cheese tastes close to the real mac and cheese. I don't want it to be close to the real mac and cheese, but I want it to be like, I don't want it to be Kraft mac and cheese, but it still better be good mac and cheese. You feel me? Like, I want it to be a good story. It doesn't have to be Six of Crows. I don't want it to be Six of Crows. I want it to be something that stands on its own 2 feet, but I want it to be good. Brat. So let's do Gilded Wolves next. Okay, so Gilded Wolves has a prologue. I think I'm gonna do a prologue and a first chapter because usually prologues are like a bunch of spaces between prologue and chapter 1. So the prologue will set the stage, but won't give me an idea what the story is going to be like. So I'm going to do a prologue and chapter 1. I mean, it gives you an idea what the story will be like, but you know what I'm saying? Like, prologues are usually like backstory, and then chapter 1 gives you the beginning of the story. So the point of this is to get the beginning of the story and see if you're intrigued enough to read it. So I'm going to do prologue and chapter 1, which for this one is going to part 1 and then chapter 1. Bitch, this is a lot of sections. Make up your mind. Page 1, 7, 14 pages. So, okay. It's not horrible. So far, where was I before my dog made me drop my book? I'm like halfway through the 2.5-page prologue, and I already see where the heavy Six of Crows comparison is coming from, and very much like the magic system, what little of it I've already seen, like saying things have been forged and hold on, where'd that other bit go? It's very loose comparison, but I think it's because I had Six of Crows in my mind because of all the comparisons everybody else makes, is what made me jump to that when I picked up this book. That is the reason, BT dubs, that I really freaking hate when people just pick up a book and it has like very, very loose comparisons or something, like they say all dystopians, and they go, this will give you Hunger Games, and this shit ain't nothing like Hunger Games except it's a dystopian, but then it colors the way I'm looking at the book before I even go into it. I really, really hate that, because not once have I seen that comparison, and the book is even close to Hunger Games. Well, we're starting the prologue off with a murder, so let's see. You're doing it again, said Enrique. What? That whole nefarious whilst looking into the distance thing. What are you hiding, Severin? Nothing. You and your secrets. Secrets keep my hair lustrous. Okay, so I finished the prologue in chapter 1 of The Gilded Wolves. It takes place in what's supposed to be this very glittery, kind of like luxurious Parisian setting where there's all these mentions of like luxurious fabrics and gemstones, glittering gold and precious metals and etc. But it's not sounding like, it's not effective maybe to me, because it's not like in the narrative I don't get that sense of like everything's glittery and pretty. So it's just like it's only in those moments where they mention like the one thing, and the onyx thing. Like it's not, I think the way the book was described to me is I was supposed to get this like very palatial kind of feel, and I don't have that. It just feels like a regular, just like it could be in Walmart, and then hey look, there's something made out of onyx. Like, does that make sense? Like I don't get like that very gilded feel. Just I don't know what it is, because the stuff is there and it's mentioned every so often, but it just kind of seems like plug-ins or throwaways, kind of like when you read a book that has steampunk. It just looks like a regular setting, and then they just throw in the random mechanical thing every so often, but you don't get that whole like picture of it. You just kind of have whatever the blank mind supplies, and then, or whatever your mind supplies and the blankness, and then, oh, and then she had on like this corset with gears like screwed onto it. Okay, okay, I guess. So that's the feel I get with that, all of that. But the first chapter ended in the midst of a heist that was just going wrong. So I do like and appreciate the creativity of the world, in that the world, or this area, is divided up, like the ton or the geniality or whatever you're gonna call it, it's divided up into houses, and everything is passed down like magically through these houses. These houses are wealthy and powerful magic wise, and so far what it's looking like is the matriarchs or patriarchs or what have you of these houses have these rings, and they have this magical ability as well, and the rings that marks them as being head of that house is passed down, and then one of the main characters, Severin, who the first chapter's POV is in, is the sole heir to one of the houses that the order, which I'm not sure exactly what it is quite yet, which the order has deemed like dead, extinct, died off, but it's not, because he's sitting there. But they, for some reason we don't know yet, blackballed him from attending these auctions that you're supposed to be able to buy artifacts from as a member of a house, and claim that house is dead when it's clearly not. And he has this scar down his palm, so whether they've cut his ring, cut his hand, did something. Like I said, I do though appreciate the creativity of the world in like the security measures that they have, such as like these giant talking like onyx and emerald animals that you have to bypass, and if they don't believe you are who you say you are, they have magical means of stopping you, as opposed to it being like actual guards, people, if they appear to be charmed or living giant gemstone animals, which when you say it out loud, it sounds kind of stupid, but I mean, it's a fantasy book. Let's just go with it. All right, so next up, I'm going to Seafire. It was described in a little elevator pitch atop of the blurb as being like as feminist as Wonder Woman and powder keg action of Mad Max Fury Road. Seafire follows the captain of an all-fire ship intent on taking down a vicious warlord's powerful fleet. So this one has quite a long prologue and first chapter compared to the other two. The prologue and the chapter in this one are 25 pages. Whereas chapter 1 in Curse of Dark and Lonely was 4 pages, and then the prologue in chapter 1 in The Gilded Wolves was 14 pages. Let's see what we got, Jesus. But so far, Curse of Dark and Lonely is winning out of the ones I've read thus far. Man, y'all just can't let me be great. What, sir? Your feet are in my gut. Okay, so I finished the prologue and chapter 1 of Seafire. In the prologue, we get the main character's backstory. Like, if she were an evil villain, this would be like her turning moment kind of a thing. Her family is all destroyed, and this isn't a spoiler because this is in the summary. Like, she loses her family, and it is more or less like the big thing that happened in the prologue. In chapter 1, we kind of get to see how she pulled herself together from that, and more or less the new family, the found family that she created after tragedy. And then we end the chapter with her more or less running into the same people who are responsible for the death of her family in chapter 1. Intrigued, yes, but still, I don't know how I feel about it. I'm intrigued, but for some reason still not as intrigued as with A Curse of Dark and Lonely. Even though like Seafire got a little darker than I thought it would be with the whole like losing of the family thing. I can already see where some drama is gonna pop up down the line with the way her family was lost and things that she didn't tell, the one other survivor. And I can also see some drama coming, or as far as like, maybe not drama, but I can kind of see wherein like the struggle to trust this new person who's supposed to be defecting from the opposition or from the other side. I can see where she'll have trouble trusting him because of things that happen in her prologue, and why like there's a potential for her to have a big, huge knockdown, drag out, blow up with her best friend because of the way things went down in the prologue. So intrigued, very much so. I don't know what it is about these 4 pages from this book that have intrigued me more than 19 pages from one book and 24 pages from another. But now I have Uprooted and Wicked King left, so I'm going to hit up Uprooted first, I guess, and then do Wicked King last. So, no, my dog manages not to like kneecap me this time. Oh, this looks like a long chapter, bitch. 24 pages for chapter 1 of Uprooted, and these be some tiny words. This is a world that is apparently rooted in fairy tale and folk stories and legends, and it's supposed to have kind of like a grim, like Grimm, Grimm's fairy tale kind of feel to it. Oh shit, I'm tired. Tell I ain't cracked this mug open. This book is stiff, bitch. Stiff. Chapter 1. Our dragon doesn't eat the girls he takes, no matter what stories they tell outside our valley. Okay, so I got a first chapter of Uprooted read, and I damn near just kept on going into chapter 2 before I realized I was supposed to stop. So I really, really like this one. Thus far in this one we have Agnieszka, I probably butchered that, who lives in this village and part of this kingdom in which they kind of pay this tithe to the dragon in the tower once every 10 years. The tithe being one of the dragonborn girls. And it's 17 years old and they were born in a specific year between 1 October and the next October. It's not a literal dragon in a tower who like eats the princess or the virgin or whatever the hell. He just takes a girl of particular talents, typically the most talented or the most special out of the kingdom, which is made up of a couple of different villages, it looks like. And in return for this tithe, he protects them from like the big bad in the woods, so to speak. The girls typically all return after their 10-year period of service is up. He gives them a purse full of silver to use as their dowry if they should want to get married, but none of them ever tend to want to stay with their family or want to stay get married or any of that stuff. Most of them tend to go off and run businesses or go to university. One particular one became a courtesan just because she damn wanted to. So I'm thinking what it is, even though there's kind of this stigma where they think the females are ruined and none of them is 100% certain that he's not, you know, sleeping with these girls or using them as, you know, mistress and housekeeper or any other that stuff. What it's sounding like though from nobody wants to tend to stay in their villages after they're released. It's said that they really don't know how to live amongst, you know, village people anymore. So I think what it is there's a lot of like training in some kind of arts, alchemy, just book training. I don't know. It's just something that makes them more worldly than they were when they left from being in that tower. So we start chapter 1 learning this and kind of seeing that choosing day is coming up and everyone think this specific girl is going to get chosen, but surprise, surprise, he didn't want that one. He wanted the one who is, you know, can't seem to keep her clothes clean or unripped and always, you know, doesn't have any particular talents compared to the other girls, so they pretty much thought she was safe. Nope. Surprise, bitch. And she gets taken up very abruptly when nobody thought she was going to be chosen into this tower with the dragon. We don't really find out what he wants them for yet, but we do see him kind of berate her quite a bit. Like, he didn't necessarily want to choose her. It was kind of like he didn't have a choice. So I'm thinking maybe she has some kind of like magical talents or something that he sees and was like, ah, damn it, I have to pick you, because he has that kind of air like, oh, it's you then. Fine, whatever. Let's fucking go. And they go right then and there. And then we already see from like the first full day in the tower that the two of them are not going to have an easy time of it together. And then that's where we end chapter 1. And I kind of want to keep going with this one. I really like this one. So thus far now, it's looking like Uprooted is going to be my pick. But I've got one more. I have, oh, Lord, to get through the first chapter of The Wicked King by Holly Black. Dun, dun, dun. This being the sequel to The Cruel Prince. And let's see, this was already on my TBR for this month, as was Gilded Wolves. But you fuckers done spoiled me so badly. Yeah, I said it, I'm still salty. Anywho, so let's see how this one starts. I mean, I pretty much know where book 1 left off, but let's just see. Okay, so in this one, I don't know why there's a prologue for a book that's a sequel, but what the fuck ever. There's a prologue and chapter 1, and this one together are 19 pages. The prologue thing is really, really tripping me out. Like, why do we need a prologue? The whole book 1 was prologue to this book. And with that, I have finished the prologue and first chapter of The Wicked King, and it has just the exact level of saltiness and people making dumbass decisions, cutting off their nose to spite their face, like, you know, book 1. And I don't know that I'm quite prepared to be that frustrated and irritated at people doing dumb shit. Like, it's not a bad book, it's not badly written, like, they're meant for the characters to come off that way, but they are a particular level of frustrating that I don't know I'm prepared to deal with. So I think I'm gonna go with, it's between Uprooted and A Curse So Dark and Lonely. But Uprooted is the only one like I didn't want to put down when I got to the end of chapter 1. So I think I'm gonna go with Uprooted. This wasn't a bad try chapter though. So like the only one like I just really felt kind of like blah about picking basically any of these 3. Uprooted, A Curse So Dark and Lonely, or The Wicked King. I could read either of those 3 or all of them this month. But yeah, I think Uprooted and Uprooted will go with my theme. So I'm going to edit this video and then start reading Uprooted. Alright guys, if you would like to see me do another try a chapter type dealio, let me know down in the comments. And if you've read any of these books, which one of them are your favorite? And which one did you like the least if you've read them? And just let me know what you thought about them. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!